Welcome to ASTRA, the daily current affairs from the Hindu. So today it is 11th of July 2024. So I am going to discuss what are the important issues that are important from the Hindu for the prelims as well as for the mains. What is the content that you have to take for the mains along with all subjects data. Right. So in today's newspaper, first of all, today it is 10th of July, World Population Day. Today is celebrated as World Population Day. As a result, majority of the today's open page, editorial page, is carrying the news about this population. So more or less everything is related to demographics today in the editorial pages. So that is one thing that you have to understand. So the rest of the things, let's start with the first page. West Bengal suit against CBI probe is maintainable, says Supreme Court. Now what is this West Bengal CBI probe? The government of West Bengal approached Supreme Court challenging that CBI has not taken state consent while they are coming and dealing with the cases inside the state. So whenever CBI is taking up a case in the state, normally CBI has to take state consent. This is the norm. Why CBI has to? Because CBI Superintendents of Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. So for the state of Delhi or for the Union Territory of Delhi, you have Delhi Special Police Establishment Act, which governs how to maintain law and order in Delhi, which is the police which has to look after Delhi. Under the same act, CBI was enacted. As a result, CBI was enacted by Parliament or through a Parliament law, it was enacted under the so-called Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. For the sake of Delhi, or it is going to deal with Delhi police, hence CBI powers are restricted to Delhi. If you want to extend it beyond Delhi, you have to take the permission of either the state government or the consent of the state governor. Consent of the state governor is required. Sorry, either the consent of the state government or the consent of the high courts of the states are required to probe into a state matter. But recently what CBI is doing, CBI is not taking the consent of the states, and against this West Bengal has went to court. Under original jurisdiction, West Bengal has challenged this in the courts. And what Supreme Court said is, what West Bengal correct. So it has given the order to the so-called courts. It has given the order in favor of West Bengal. The court has given order in favor of West Bengal, saying though central government has the authority on CBI, however CBI should not engage into states except with the permission of the so-called state governments. Consent of the states are really required when they are dealing with the state governments, and that is what the court has said. Right. So that is the thing. The powers of superintendents of the center will not relate the superintendents of investigation. So by being just having superintendent's power to look after CBI power, though it is having power per center, it doesn't allow the center to investigate or to intrude into the investigation of CBI. CBI has a procedure. The procedure is you have to follow the central state government's directives, and then they have to enter into the state. This is the procedure, and then through that procedure only they can enter. So this can be used in GS paper 2. This is used in GS paper 2, CBI and related matters, federal relations, and this can also be related to original jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Original jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Here you can use these matters, and this is also important for prelims, by the way, because under what act CBI was established, what are the powers for CBI. So these two things are important. Now, in another judgment, what the Supreme Court said is, divorced women are entitled for secular remedy. What is the secular remedy? Whenever a woman is divorced in India, they are entitled to get the maintenance from the husbands. So, however, where this is there, that divorced woman is entitled to get the maintenance, Section 125 of CRPC says women are entitled to get this pension, to get this maintenance. So Section 125 CRPC says women are entitled. Now, though this is there, divorce is related to personal matter. So every religion has their own personal laws. So Muslim personal law says that women should not be entitled for maintenance. As a result, women in Muslim communities were not given this maintenance for a period of time. The Supreme Court has included into it, and it said that no, even Muslim women is entitled to get the maintenance, and the personal laws of Muslims cannot include into this, and they cannot take away the right of this Muslim woman. So the rights of maintenance are available to every woman, and it is applied to Muslim women also. So this is one of the forward step where true secularism is reflected by the country. What is secularism? State has no religion, and state can control the religion if they are going against the rights of individuals. So individual rights are given primacy here rather than the community rights. So community, under the sake of community laws, you cannot compromise the rights of individual. So in these examples, you can use it, and how India is a secular country, how Supreme Courts intervene into these matters to regulate the behavior of the community towards the rights of individuals. So in these areas, you can use this as an example. After that, again coming from the Supreme Court of India, caste discrimination in prisons must end. So it is said that in prisons, many manuals of prisons, many books or manuals in the prisons has some caste discriminatory words. Caste discriminatory words. Now Supreme Court said these words should be removed. For example, one paragraph in such a prison document says scavenger class. Who is a scavenger class? Convicts serving simple imprisonment would not be called to perform menial jobs or degrading duties unless they belong to a class or community accustomed to such work. So this is something which was there in Uttar Pradesh manual, prison manual. So it is showing caste discrimination inside this manual, and then there it has to be removed. Madhya Pradesh manual also has a similar thing. A denotified tribe would be automatically seen as a habitual criminal. So these things should be removed. So we are still, though these are not practiced, the books still carry them. So what CJI has said is we have to remove these type of caste discrimination in prisons. So overhaul of the prison manuals is necessary. So again, this can be written in the context of caste-based issues. In society, you can use. In prison reforms, you can use. You can use in the so-called rights of individuals or fundamental rights of individuals. All these places, you can use this. So in the front page, one is CBI, second one is Supreme Court intervention directly saying that the divorced women belonging to the Islamic religion are entitled to get maintenance. Similarly, caste discrimination should end. This is also can be used in ethics essay writing as well as in GS paper 2. These are the areas where you can have these things further. After this, going to the Hyderabad page, digitalization of land records is going to help them to prevent encroachment bids. So this is the advantage of technology in governance. So for advancement of technology in governance, what is the role of e-technology in governance? You can use this example. Just remember the heading, e-technology in the aid of governance. You can use in these aspects. You can use in these aspects this example. Next, IRS officers allowed to change gender identity. For the first time, one IRS officer officially changed her gender. Right. So this is the second instance in bureaucracy. The first one being Aishwarya Rutuparna Pradhan. The second one in bureaucracy, and first one in IRS is Anusuya. So where you can write it regarding the third gender rights. Right, rights of all third gender rights. Whenever we are discussing about these vulnerable sections, you can say that not only the laymen but also the officers are also changing or creating this awareness by accepting their vulnerability or accepting their other gender. So as a third gender, rights are being spoken here. So this can be used again as an example to substantiate. After this, in Hyderabad, the state of Telangana has mooted storage sumps to check water logging during rains. So during heavy rains, it is a very common practice that there will be storms and water will be filled on the roads. In order to overcome this problem, the state government is thinking to dig some sewerage pits, water storage pits, so that the drain, whenever the drain is full, the water will be logged here, stored here, and that after the water recedes, they will be releasing it back. So this is like storm water will be collected into these sumps while it rains, and they will be delayed release into the storm drains after the rain subsides. So this is one mechanism they are thinking that how to overcome problems of the so-called over drainage or over flooding during rains. So you can use this disaster management. You can use this as an example how Telangana government started thinking it, or you can also think this as out-of-box solutions for common problems, right? So this is one thing where you can use it in disaster management. After this, Chief Minister Revanth Reddy called for a humane approach while taking land for farmers from highways. Normally, according to the rule, whenever a land is acquired for public purpose like highways, the state government has to pay compensation to the farmers or compensation to those who are losing their land. Normally, this compensation will be the compensation which government rate is there. But normally, we all know that for any property, government rate is far less than the market price. Let's say, for example, if I have 1 acre of land and government wants to take away, normally government price will be somewhere around 5 lakhs, but in the market, it will be somewhere around 40 lakhs. So this is the discrepancies that exist in the land acquisition. Hence, what Chief Minister Revanth Reddy said is, this is like taking away the property at very cheap prices when the market prices are high. So first, go with a humane approach. Humane approach means understand their concerns and try to provide fair remuneration or fair compensation to them. And if possible, it is better to revise the land government rates also on par with the market prices, so that farmers will realize, or those people who are losing their lands will realize more amount. This can be used in ethics, how empathy can be shown. Empathy can be shown in administration. So this can be used for ethics, administration, empathy related matters. After this, CBI charge sheets former Kerala police and IB officials in ISRO case. So these police officers from Kerala and the IB officers in Kerala have falsely framed Mr. Nambi Narayan and people belonging to ISRO on false cases. So for their alleged framing of these people, CBI has what they did, they have charge sheeted the police officers. We all know this, but what we have to remember is where to use this. This can be used in misuse of power by officials. And you can also say that, so those people, Kerala police officers, those who thought that they have ultimate power, in a country like India, where constitutionalism is prevailing, that is limited laws are prevailing, there are many checks and balances. One of the best check that has happened on this police is CBI. So whether you are a police officer, if you are misutilizing your power, then there will be a higher authority that will take action on you. So this can also be used as justice, is how to serve the justice, right? This is a concept of true justice in the country. This is a concept of limited powers. This is a concept of abuse of powers by officials. How if someone is abusing, how to overcome them. So you can use this in ethics. You can use this in essay writing. You can use this in GS paper too. How rule of law can be upheld through checks and balancing mechanisms. So ED searches premises of ex-minister in Valmiki case. What is this Valmiki case? Valmiki case is related to the so-called funds up to 88 crore rupees were embezzled by the officers that were given for the so-called scheduled tribes, Valmikis. In the state of Karnataka, this was the thing where they have given charge sheet. So the ministers and officers who were working in this department, so ED has conducted, and there was an allegation that 88 crore rupees were embezzled. Now, this can be used in utilization of public funds and misuse of public funds, right? In GS paper 4, we can use this as an example. After this, logged in conflict. This is speaking about the recent incidents of struggle between the governor and the elected representatives of the state or elected government in the state of West Bengal. So this article is a very common article that we will be finding, that is issues related to federal structure. Issues related to federal structure. In the federal structure, one of the major problems in India is that governor who was an appointee of the center or union intrudes into the elected state governments, intrudes into the rights of elected state governments under the pretext that he has the authority to get the information on what is happening under Article 167 of Indian Constitution. Yes, Article 167 allows the governor to know the information from the state governments or from the Council of Ministers headed by the Chief Minister to know what is happening. But at times, because of the union's pressure, these people, what they will do is, they will intrude too much and they occupy the space of Council of Ministers and Chief Minister. And one such thing that has happened is in the state of West Bengal recently. So what happened in West Bengal? West Bengal governor has asked the union government to look into the matters of the so-called two officers who are working in West Bengal on the pretext why these officers have came to media and they have spoken about the governor and some sexual allegations that was conducted against the governor. So inside Raj Bhavan, recently in West Bengal, there was a woman who is working in this Raj Bhavan who approached the government and said that she was sexually harassed by the governor. Now what governor said is, this sexual allegation was fabricated and it is on a false case. And according to the constitutional provisions of Article 361, governor enjoys immunity from criminal proceedings. We all know that. Governor enjoys immunities from criminal proceedings. As he enjoys criminal immunity, as long as he is in the office, no one can initiate these proceedings against him. But what the officers in West Bengal did, according to him, they have intruded into this immunity rights, and as a result, he asked the union government and state governments to take action on these people, On one side, the allegation that was made on this governor by a woman in Raj Bhavan is given protection under Article 361. Now Raj Bhavan, our governor, is given protection under Article 361 because he is immune from arrest or he is immune from prosecution in criminal matters. On the other side, this is regarding to Raj Bhavan officials or the so-called Chief Minister or her administration intervening into the rights of Raj Bhavan. So he is saying that when Constitution has given him the protection, how could these people who are administrators can speak about it? As a result, he said that action should be taken on this. Now, what the Chief Minister said, they are not going to take action because it is the elected representatives who has to decide whether action has to be taken or not, but not Raj Bhavan. So this is the new tussle that has happened between Raj Bhavan and the CMO office. So this is a very common practice in India. So what are the challenges? So if you leave this scenario, what are the challenges that exist in the federal relations as far as the governor and the so-called chief minister is considered? The problems are there are personal squabbles against each other. Institutional conflicts are very common between the governor and the state. The third one is politicization of Raj Bhavan by the union. The governors are seeking to undermine the elected regime and they are penal that is present between the states. These are the issues between the governor in West Bengal and all the states. What are the issues in the squabbles of elected representatives conflict reflect this is the state. So what constitutional question are have because they ask the regular with the union government even or give job. The state of is trying to pass as work security and social and worker. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Now, who is a gig worker in the state? Hello, 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 hello. Okay, right. Thank you. I'll be continuing. So, who is a gig worker? Gig workers are platform workers. Platform. Now, what do I mean by platform? Platform workers are those people who will be working on digital platforms. Digital platforms. What is a digital platform? Digital platforms like Zomato, where they will be using this app and they will be working, like Uber, like Swiggy, like Ola, right? Like Amazon, right? So all these people who are doing some works like food delivery, ride sharing, all these people are known as gig workers. They are working on a platform, the digital platform. As a result, they are called as gig workers. Now, what is the problem with gig workers? Today, if you look at as per Niti Aayog, at the beginning of this decade, by 2021, the total number of gig workers in the country is 77 lakh, and today it is somewhere around 1 crore. So by 2030, they are going to constitute 6.7% of non-agricultural labor or non-agricultural workforce. Now the problem with them is they are facing low incomes, high working hours. There is no definition for them that has to be applied as employee. There is no definition, gig workers are not considered as employees. If you are not considering them as employee, then they will lose social security cover. And they are at the mercy of the platform providers, that is the aggregators, and powerful algorithms saying that what is your rating, depending upon the rating their payment will be there. And the absence of safety nets, they do not have proper safety mechanisms. All these are the problems that the gig workers are facing. So initially they thought that they will have more autonomy, more earnings, but there is no rigid timings. But what happened over a period of time is these people who are working on these digital platforms are facing this. So what are the problems of gig workers? Less incomes, more working hours, lack of recognition as an employee. Next, they are dependent on the mercy of the owners. They are depending on the mercy of these powerful algorithms or software. Then absence of safety nets like insurance or proper incomes for them. So in order to overcome this, Karnataka government decided to come out with a legislation which is known as the rights-based legislation. Now what do I mean by rights-based legislation? They aim to prevent arbitrary dismissals, provide human grievance redressal mechanism. They want to provide more transparency in the operation of these agencies. It is similar to Code on Social Security of Union Government. Union Government has a code on Social Security 2020. In 2020 they have launched this code on Social Security. It is in line with this. So Karnataka government wanted to prevent these arbitrary dismissals. They wanted to provide human grievances redressal in a very proper way. So once it is done, there will be mandatory registration with welfare boards. Now if there is mandatory registration with welfare boards, gig workers will get some justice in the eyes of the law. So this is the major reason for which they have kept. So similarly, not only in the state of Karnataka, earlier in the state of Rajasthan, the past Congress government wanted to enact it, but because of the change in the government in Rajasthan, the new government, BJP government, couldn't take this measure. So Karnataka state, which is a Congress government, they wanted to bring in this legislation. So what the author is saying is, even at the national level, there should be a comprehensive legislation which will be setting minimum wages for these gig workers, reasonable working hours, and their working conditions has to be improved. This has to be provided along with the status of employees of the national level. If it is provided, then these gig workers will be protected. So how to protect gig workers? One of the most important things for GS paper 3 economy. GS paper 3, it is extremely important. The rest of the articles, India's demographic journey, hits and misses, a case of people versus population, the pathway for most populous nations. So this was 3 articles which were written in the context of the World Population Day. Today we are celebrating as World Population Day, and this World Population Day is being celebrated since 1989 after the United Nations has recognized the request of the so-called a person known as Jecharich. So based on his recommendation, they started celebrating World Population Day. Now on this World Population Day, they have given some reports. What did India's population speak about? What are the India's highlights in the last few decades in this population? What are the achievements and what are the misses? So where did we achieve our targets? Where did we miss our targets? This is what it is being spoken here. The second one is whether population versus people. People means a group of individuals. Population means individuals living in a particular area. It's called population. So people means prajalu, population ante janaba. Now he is speaking about how people versus population is different, and what is the role of population on climate change, how India should address this climate change issues. And the third concept, a pathway for the most populous nations. So this is being given in the context of the so-called most populous nation today is India. What is the pathway for India? That is how India should be prepared for meeting this population explosion. So more or less everyone is speaking on the similar context. Let me consolidate all these three things into one. So we all know that in 2015 the United Nations has adopted Sustainable Development Goals. Under these Sustainable Development Goals, they wanted to ensure progress of the nations in a very dynamic manner. If you look at the progress of India ever since the beginning of this 1990s or 2000, we have achieved major successes. The major successes that India has achieved is the total fertility rate has decreased from 3.4 to 2, and subsequently it was replaced with 2.1. So from 3.4 to 2, we have reached in fertility rate. What is fertility rate? Prelims 2024 question last time. Now they have asked this. Total fertility rate is the total amount of or the total number of children or babies that a woman is going to deliver in her fertile age. During her reproductive age, how many children or how many babies a woman will give birth is known as total fertility. Now the total fertility in India during 1992 was 3.4. It was reduced to 2 at the present scenario. The replacement rate is at 2.1. What is replacement rate? Replacement rate is like two people replacing the other two. So if two people are becoming old, how many people are going to replace them? That is called replacement rate. Normally the replacement rate should be 2. So father and mother, if they become old, there should be 2 people to replace them. So this is the way in which a country can sustain. This is the way in which a country can sustain. So India's total fertility has been decreased from 3.4 to 2 between 1992 to 2021. Next, according to 2011 census, India has aging population of 8.6%, that is more than 60 years. You have 8.6 population. Now it is expected to grow somewhere around 20% by 2050. So if you look at what India has achieved over a period of time, so India has made great leaps in eradicating poverty. The proportion of population living below poverty in 1990 was 48, now it was reduced to 10. So this was a great achievement in India's poverty reduction. Just only 10% of population is poor. But in a country where you have almost 144 crores of population, even 10% is very high. That is almost 14 crores or 15 crores of people is under poverty. Now, coming to the work, MGNREGA, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act of 2006 played a very crucial role in addressing rural poverty. Subsequently, to increase the institutional delivery of the mothers, Janani Suraksha Yojana of 2005 has created good health facilities, and it has accentuated institutional deliveries. At the same time, Green Revolution, which we have taken up, has provided food security. As a result, the hunger was reduced from 18.3% in 2001 to 16.6% in 2021. So we have tried to reduce the hunger. However, one problem is malnutrition problem. So we have global burden of malnutrition, despite we have Poshan Abhiyan, which was launched in 2018. Poshan Abhiyan means Prime Minister overarching scheme for holistic nourishment. So though we have eliminated hunger, so providing zero hunger is still one of the most important things. And the health parameters, India has also made substantial progress. If you look at MMR, maternal mortality rate, it was decreased from 384 or 385 persons in 2000 to 102. Today, India is somewhere around 101 in maternal mortality. Next, if you look at the infant mortality, it was decreased from 67 to 26. So all these are the successes that Indian government has achieved. However, what are the problems that India is facing? Highest inequalities. According to Oxfam report, top 10% of Indian population is holding 77% of the national wealth. As a result, now when fruits of development are not equitably distributed, the development does not percolate to the lowest level, and people will suffer from this lack of absolute development. So, the top 1% in India is holding 40% of national wealth. Second thing is, in the global hunger index, India is at 111th position out of 125, and India is suffering from stunting, wasting, underweight among children below 5 years of age. So these are the challenges that we have. So what are the steps that government of India has to focus on? They have to focus on addressing income inequalities, create job opportunities, so that in the upcoming years it will be a very good thing. So I will be uploading it in my Telegram channel, this newspaper. Whatever I have given in red color, this is challenges. Whatever I have given in blue color, that is solutions. Whatever I have given in yellow color, they are definitions, or they are about static data. So yellow color is definitions and static data, red color is challenges, blue color is solutions. Blue color is solutions. Green is some hope related issues, right? So you can follow that and you can look at it. A similar case was the same thing was discussed in this, a case of people versus population. No need to read into that aspect. A pathway for the most population nations. Again, these persons have said that in order to accommodate more cities, we have to go for building up smart cities. So this is what he said. More or less, that will be more than sufficient. Now, internal security. Indo-Tibetan border police has captured 108 kilos of gold biscuits. Now, why this is important? Because in internal security, you have border disputes or border issues. So far, the borders between India and China, you do not have this gold smuggling. For the first time, we are seeing gold smuggling case here. So there is increasing safety threat here because of gold smuggling. So in internal security, you can write it. Next, internal security. Again, Pegasus like software is observed. So internal security threat from the so-called cyber attacks. So Pegasus is like a spyware. Spywares are cyber frauds or cyber attacks. So there you can use this. So Apple is taking the responsibility to alert the so-called people whenever they are hit by this spyware. Next one is, in economy you can use this. Accidents are one of the major reasons of poor road transportation. So in road transport, you can use these type of examples. Next, in order to increase the safety of railways, again GS paper 3, duty hours of loco pilots were reduced to increase the safety net of people. Now, Supreme Court judge says that men should share funds to empower their housewives. So this can be used in ethics in private life. Ethics in private life, the life which happens when you are dealing with the so-called the wives, when they are dealing with the wives. This is called ethics in private life. So what are the ethics in private life? This is what ethics in private life is, and we can deal with that aspects. Ethics in private life. So what Supreme Court is saying is, whenever in a house the woman is not earning or the wife is not earning, it is the responsibility of the husband to share certain part of his earnings to women so that their needs can be met. Every woman will have needs. So the husband should understand and he has to share their earnings with them so that it will empower women financially. And financial empowerment is going to liberate women from some social evils. So one of the best judgments that B. Nagaratna has given. Justice B. Nagaratna has given. International relations. Russia and India agreed to have trade in national currency. So this can be used in India-Russia. Already yesterday we have discussed enough about it. No need to look at it. Right. The next one is GS paper 2, NGOs. What is the problem that NGOs are facing? NGOs are not getting or losing their license under FCRA regulations. So the Home Ministry, what they said is they have cancelled the registration or they have cancelled the license of an NGO known as Center for Financial Accountability. This is an NGO. On this NGO, they have cancelled the licenses. Now, if you look at it, since 2015, when this government has come, under FCRA registrations of more than 16,000 NGOs have been cancelled. So, licenses of 16,000 NGOs were cancelled, and almost 6,000 NGOs started ceased to operate from January 2022. January 2022. They refused, or the ministry has refused to give license. So, what these NGOs are saying, we are working as an parallel mechanisms for the government or complementary mechanisms for the government. Now government is intimidating us from cancelling the license so that they will not get exposed to the so-called the reports that these people are giving. What these NGOs will do, they will give out some reports which the government will not be liking. As a result, they are cancelling this license. Next. So this is not important. Now here, MSMEs are very important for GS paper 3 in mains. They will ask direct question. So what is the solution or how to improve MSMEs? So there are 6 pillars which are very focus areas for MSMEs. One is formalization and giving access to credit. Second one is giving access to market, e-commerce business adaptation, high productivity by using modern technology, enhance skill power, enhance skill levels. Sixth one, digitalization of service sector, enhance skill levels. Sixth one, so globalization of khadi and village choir industry. So that if this is done, what happens is the MSMEs is going to improve. Further, focus on the so-called empowerment of women. Empowerment of women. So these are necessary to increase the MSME contribution or performance. Formalization to credit, increased access to market, e-commerce adaptation, high productivity, engage in skill development. Next is go to global trade and empower the women. These are the things. Apart from that, they should also be given infrastructure development for sustainable growth. Why they should be given? Because NPAs are the ones who are giving highest amount of employment in the manufacturing sector. As a result, what government has to do is government has to protect them. So for this, in the budget, in the upcoming budget, they have to be given. This is what they are demanding. So MSME should be given an extension of NPAs from 90 days to 180 days. Interest equalization scheme should be applied for them. Then what they said is, for textile industry, they have to go for remission of duties and taxes on export and exported products, and then they are asking emergency credit line. So this is like giving credit to the MSMEs, so that what they happen is they can ensure that their business is revived. So remember the 6 that I have said, that is more than important. And MSME is the backbone of Indian economy because it is one of the most employment generator. So one of the best article that you can use in today. These are the current affairs that you have in today's newspaper. The rest of the affairs are not important. So one is, what is the thing that we have to read at? What are the things that we have to look at in today's newspaper? These are the things that we have to look at in today's newspaper. So what I mean to say is, no need to go in depth, just focus on what I have discussed. Then that is going to be more than sufficient. So whatever we have discussed, just focus on this, be it the so-called population related issues in the internal security. So let me go by chapter wise what you have. In society, you have population and demographics. So today, World Population Day, hence go through that articles and consolidate. They have given some data about what is the performance of India in terms of its growth, what is the performance of India in terms of its maternal health issues, in terms of its providing employment or enhancing the parameters of life, removal of poverty. These data is given. So go through it, consolidate that data. It is going to be helpful in GS paper 1. After that, GS paper 2, 2 or 3 important articles has come today. One is the relation between the governor and the so-called chief ministers. The second one is Supreme Court judgments upholding the rights of the women, particularly the so-called maintenance rights under section 125 of CRPC. And Supreme Court Justice Ms. J. Nagaratna has said women should get equal share in the earnings of the men. So this is another highlight of the Supreme Court's judgments, along with the Supreme Court's intervention into the so-called CBI rights. There are 3 Supreme Court cases today. All this can be used in GS paper 2. And when it comes to the so-called international relations, India and Russia relations, already we know about it, this India and Russia relations. Yesterday we have discussed. So today they have reiterated the point that both the countries wanted to use Indian currency in their trade. So if you go for governance aspects, there is NGO cancellation of licenses, and they have given a data from 2015 almost 20,000 or 60,000 NGOs have cancelled their license. This is one data that they have given. After that, coming to Indian economy, MSME sector is one of the most important thing. There they have focused on. Apart from that, issues with the roads, that is accidents, issues with railways, that is again the same thing. When it goes to the so-called ethics, right? In ethics, we have seen the human approach that Mr. Revant Reddy has done, or some other aspects here and there. There are some related aspects of ethics. You can use them while you are writing the answers. So this is for the answer writing. And for prelims, what is important for prelims? Only this thing. What are the constitutional provisions of governor, and what is CBI's role? These things are important. And demographics, they can ask some data, because for prelims you have demographics. So what I advise is go through the demographic articles today. That is going to enhance your knowledge.